Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Tuesday, all today's guests, including Craig Button, standing by. Brought to you by the Bayside Oceanfront Resort. Get ready for winter. With an unbeatable stay at the Bayside this season, they're offering 25% off their best available rate, Rick. All winter long on weekday stays with a minimum 2-night booking. Whether it's a cozy coastal getaway or a serene retreat, don't miss this exclusive offer. Call them directly, 250-248-8333, or visit BaysideResortParksville.com to book your event today. Canucks beat Colorado 3-1 last night. Here to talk about that and other matters NHL, other matters hockey. TSN Scouting Director Craig Button. Craig, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
I am great. Yeah, a little bit of snow fell here in Calgary. After some pretty good wins in Vancouver, my daughter was out there with her boyfriend, and she said, "Wow, it was pretty significant at the end of last week."
It was.
Yeah, we had no power for 24 hours on the weekend. Yeah.
Well,
I'll tell you who had a lot of power.
The Canucks didn't have any power on Saturday night versus Boston either.
But Kiefer Sherwood had power last night. He gets all 3 Vancouver goals. Craig, pardon me for not remembering this, but what was your reaction when the Canucks signed Kiefer Sherwood?
I think when you're trying to get players into play into certain areas of your team, and then you know how your coaching staff wants to play a certain style of game, it's incumbent upon the manager to go out and find players that do that. So we know that, we're not talking about high-end skill here. We're talking about somebody that's going to go out and compete, somebody that's going to go, I'll use Rick Tocchet's word, somebody that's going to get emotionally invested, that's going to get juiced and jacked. So you can't ask players to come in and play a certain style if that's not who they are. So Patrick Allvin knows exactly what Rick Tocchet's looking for, and that's exactly what Kiefer Sherwood is. Take the goals aside; those are all bonuses, and they're nice and really important. But the way Kiefer plays is exactly what Rick Tocchet wants from that group of his players, and I think that getting him into the lineup is something that it's a positive. The goals are wonderful. Hearing the chants during the game last night, Kiefer Sherwood. I mean, I can't imagine how he was tingling, because I'm watching the game and it sent tingles through my body, and the appreciation that the fans have for his effort, and then for him to get the goal, to get the 2 goals, and then ultimately the empty net hat trick. I mean, it was unbelievable.
Do you want us to start chanting your name?
Craig Button.
No, I'm not. I'm not deserving of that. I mean, Kiefer Sherwood was. I mean, when a building starts rocking like that, acknowledging, we talk about this regularly. Mm-hmm. The fans know. The fans know who's putting forth an effort. The fans know if they're getting their money's worth. And that chant about Kiefer Sherwood was a tribute to Kiefer Sherwood delivering an effort that is worthy of the fans' attention.
Moving on to the other player who got a lot of attention last night, Thatcher Demko. I think he's getting better and better each game out. What are you seeing 3 games into his return?
I thought he played really well on Saturday versus Boston too. I mean, I think the shots at one point in time were 17-5. I mean, some grade A chances. I thought the game could have been 15-1 if it wasn't for Thatcher Demko. So, 5 goals go in, and I thought he was excellent. I'm watching right now Thatcher in the net. The lower body injury, longer recovery, trying to find a way to be fully healthy. I'm watching how he's moving, and I'm watching laterally movement, and everything that goes with it. And I see somebody that's moving really well and moving with confidence. I think one of the biggest things, and my goaltender friends, and I have many of them, believe it or not, even though I'm not a goalie hugger, they tell me that, the goaltenders, because they have to explode those quick movements into position to make a kick save, to move laterally, to move out from the crease and close down the net. That's what I'm watching for in Thatcher. I thought he was really good. I thought he was efficient. I thought he was clean. And then you saw him at different points in time just throw form out the window because he's a competitor that wants to make sure he keeps the puck out of the net. I thought that was another good sign Because, he's not hesitant. He's just letting it go and letting his instincts take over. We know that he's a top-notch goaltender. Certainly those signs that I've seen in the 2 games, I didn't really see much of his first game, but these last 2 games, I think there's every reason to believe that Thatcher Demko's right on the path to being the top-notch goalie that we all know that he is in the NHL.
Hey, Craig, go back to the Boston Post game when the coach, Rick Tocchet, said we had 4 to 5 passengers. He said some players are taking 30 minutes to get emotionally involved in the game. That's some alarming stuff, Craig.
It is alarming stuff. And what's alarming is and I love the way that Rick handled it in terms, he goes, it's my job to get them to do that. Yeah, and I get what Rick's doing and understanding, okay, it's your job. Really? You gotta have somebody start you? Listen, if you're not a self-starter in this league, you're not going to help teams win. It's as simple as that. I'm not saying you're not going to play in the league. I'm not going to say that you can't have a career in the league. If you're not a self-starter, you will not help teams win. And teams are looking for players that are self-starters. It is damning, Rick. And for Rick Tocchet to make that statement, and trust me, those players that weren't emotionally invested and took 30 minutes, they know who they are. And I love the fact that Rick just says, we had too many passengers, and it's hard enough to win in this league when you have everybody going. When you have 4 or 5 or 6 players not going, good luck, you got no chance.
Craig, the World Juniors are around the corner. They're in Ottawa. All eyes, obviously, here are going to be on Canada. Sawyer Minio of the Canucks. Can you tell us a little bit about him making the team and what kind of role do you think he could have in Ottawa?
Fully deserving of making the team. And when you consider Sawyer was a really good player in his draft year for the Seattle Thunderbirds, who won the Western Hockey League Championship that year, ends up being a 3rd-round draft pick. And you're looking for potential. You're trying to see, okay, when he grows, when he gets physically mature, what can he be? But the things that were very obvious about Sawyer at that age were that he was a competitor. His positioning was really good. He was territorial. There was not going to be an easy shift against him. Well, all he's done from that point is just continue to build his game. And he's become stronger. I mean, he's had to combat a couple of injuries this year. But when he's playing, and now he's a little bit older, a little bit more mature, he's that much harder to play against. And he's a player that's going to play down in your defense group, kill penalties, block shots, but be hard to play against. And every team needs those types of players. I think he'll be a player for Team Canada that will be in those situations. Playing those minutes, trying to make sure that you're free, you're really hard defensively, penalty killing, making sure that there's no easy shots through to the net. That's his game. And certainly I think Team Canada will be relying upon him to fulfill those areas that are critically important to success.
Talking with Craig Button. Craig, why should teams, and reportedly Vancouver is one of them, why should teams be interested in Buffalo's Dylan Cozens?
Well, let me qualify. Not qualify. Let me say this first. Mm-hmm. If I was a manager in this league, right today, I would be phoning Kevin Adams every day and asking him about Dylan Cozens, Bowen Byram, Tage Thompson, Alex Tuck. I'd be phoning every day trying to get one of those players out of there. Because we know the Buffalo Sabres are floundering and literally got lots of challenges. Dylan Cozens is a 6'3" right shot center that has a huge motor. He revs at RPMs. He doesn't need to he comes to the game emotionally invested. He's a self-starter. And those types of players that play heavy, hard minutes in the middle of the ice and impose themselves, I think are really valuable. I think any team interested in winning, any team that's trying to bolster their center ice position should be absolutely phoning Kevin Adams on a daily basis, if not twice a day. Because those types of players I want on my team. And I think he's got a really good contract. Listen, it's a mess in Buffalo. So this is your opportunity to try to get some players out there. You make the nice little phone call, go, hey, Kevin, we really want to help you out. Here's what we can do for you and everything. That's why you should be interested in Dylan Cozens. He's in it to win it.
And one more, Craig, quickly, if you don't mind, but quite the game in Edmonton. 6-5 Panthers over the Oilers. Stanley Cup final rematch. I'm putting you on the spot here. Which of these two teams do you think is more likely to return to the Stanley Cup final?
Florida, because right now the Edmonton Oilers, they have some holes in their lineup, and so we allow for them with their salary cap room to go out and make moves. They're not going to compete for the Stanley Cup against the best teams with the blue line is currently constructed. They don't have enough size on the walls in their top group, and they need a little bit more of that. And right now, the goaltender for Florida is a better goaltender than Stuart Skinner. Stuart Skinner has shown capability, but when that team and they're good, they're well coached in Edmonton. The defensive play is good. Goaltending is what uproots them. And we've seen Stuart be really good. And I'm not suggesting you're going. It's hard to find an upgrade on Stuart Skinner, but at the same time, that's where I think that Florida has the edge. They have the edge in the size on the walls. Mm-hmm. They have the edge on the blue line depth and in the net.
I got to stop saying I'm putting you on the spot because there's no such thing as putting Craig Button on the spot. Never. You told me before. You can answer anything when it comes to personnel, teams in the National Hockey League. Just a joy. Thanks for the Winter Wonderland backdrop, by the way, Craig.
Beautiful.
We appreciate it, and all the best.
Craig Button.
Happy holidays to you. Thank you, Rick. I appreciate it. Let me tip my cap to you. Donnie and Rick, thanks for having me. It's always a joy to be part of your show, and happy holidays and best of the season to you and your family and dear friends.
Right back at you. Thanks, Craig. All the best, like I said.
Thanks.